Hello and welcome to Scott and Pop Talk Baseball, the trade deadline edition. Some excitement this last few days, even today, reading the rumors this morning. Uh, we are recording on Monday this time around because I was out of town on vacation at a sports card or memorabilia show. And the phone started going off Friday, and all the rumor and everybody talking about the Chaz Chisholm and some of the other stuff, your favorite, teams and rumors. So a lot of excitement, to say the least, this weekend. What you got for us today, Dad?
Well, a lot of the big names probably won't be traded till Tuesday because they're still negotiating. The teams that want to sell want to make a killing, and the teams that are trying to buy don't want to pay that much. So it's going to be.
Since you brought it up, let's stop right there. What big names are you talking about? I mean,
the pitcher.
Who?
The White Sox pitcher. It looks like the Giants might trade Snell. Let's see.
Yeah, the Giants are sellers. They're definitely sellers.
Yeah, they're sellers.
Because today the Mets it looks like they're trying to get Conforto back, which makes me happy, but we're giving up a huge prospect in return. It sounds like Ronnie Marciano.
They also, the Mets, earlier in the week, I mean, this is just between you and I because we know the guy, and they signed Jackie Bradley.
Right, the minor league contract.
Minor league contract. He's playing in AAA. He's playing in a AAA farm team, and if they need a defensive guy, he can play defense. He's not the best hitter in the world. Ozzie Albies.
He's not on their 40-man roster, though.
No, he's on a minor league deal.
Contract,
Ozzie Albies, the Braves didn't need this. He went on the IL with a bad wrist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was early in the week. They signed Whit Merrifield. This is the way it's been going for him. They signed Whit Merrifield. In his first practice, he hurt his finger.
Yeah, I heard about that. I like Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield actually played with Jackie Bradley Jr. at South Carolina when they won the World Series
National Championship. Yep.
Yeah, so Whit's a good player, and I don't know why he's always the odd man out, and then he gets hurt when he gets with the Braves.
Yeah. So the Mets, Christian Scott, he's out with a starting pitcher. He went out with a bad elbow. The worst thing that happened was Cody Senga came back. And I saw the highlights. I couldn't get the game. I was watching the Orioles play like garbage. But anyway, he came off the mound. It was on a plate on the right side of the infield. It was a pop-up, but he came off the mound. When he did, his calf went, and he's out for the year.
Yep.
Came back, pitched one game.
Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez and J.P. Crawford of Seattle, Rodriguez had a bad ankle, but he's back. And but Crawford broke his finger, his little pinky, and he's going to be out for a while. Now, this is a big problem. Christian Yelich of Milwaukee, his bad back has inflamed again. He's going to forego surgery and try to rehab it, but he even talked about his playing days may be over.
Well, if he's got the same thing that David Wright had, it is over. You can get the surgery to widen the canal, but it doesn't. It's not to fix all. That's for you to live as normal as possible, not to play baseball. Or sport.
And I watching. Being a Nationals fan, I got to see Dylan Cease pitch his no-hitter the other day against the Nationals.
That was the other thing that the phones are going off. Everybody was walking around talking about it.
Yeah, he pitched a no-hitter, and that's the sixth time that franchise has been no-hit. 4 times as the Expos. Mason Miller, the relief pitcher for the number one closer for Oakland. First, Oakland said, well, we don't think we're going to trade him. We'll trade anybody else but him. Then Guess what? He fractures his pinky. Week 4, last week's show, we talked about lats. This week is pinkies.
I don't have anything for you with that.
So he broke his pinky, and now they don't, and he's going to be out for a while, so they don't think he's going to be traded.
Right.
The Diamondbacks, they got left-handed pitcher A.J. Puck, and they gave the Marlins infielder Division de Los Santos and outfielder Andrew Pinter. Jorge Mateo of Baltimore dislocated his elbow, and he's out for a while. They lost, and they lost the game the other night on two things. The kid second baseman they brought up made a fantastic play. Then he made one mental error and a physical error, and an umpire's bad call, and they lost the ball game. So
yeah. So speaking of some bonehead plays, like Saturday this weekend was the series. So it was the only game we could watch, but we had Yankee fans in our house, so we watched the Boston Yankee game Saturday night. And that Tyler O'Neill is supposed to be like a Gold Glover in the outfield. He looked like he never played outfield before in his life in that game. I didn't understand what the hell he was doing. 2 fly balls he could have caught, but instead of running to the spot, he's sitting there floating, trying to get to it to catch it on a trot. And I'm like, did he miss both of them?
Yeah, he looked
one hit the foul line. Yeah, and one hit the off the wall. Because he wasn't even close to it off the wall, but he could have caught it. Was head level off the wall. He was in the wrong spot because he was.
Well, I mean, the Boston Red Sox have one of the worst. They play some of the worst defense I've ever seen for a major league team. They're horrible.
That was a crazy game anyway. That looked like they were just playing home run derby with each other.
Yeah, so. And the Yankees won 2 out of 3 from them. I think the Yankees are going to be all right. They're my pick for the World Series in the American League. I think they're going to be okay. Milwaukee signed Prince Fielder's son, Jaden, to a contract. Let's see. Seattle, they got a Rosarino from Tampa, and Tampa got right-handed pitcher Brody Hopkins and outfielder Adrian Smith.
Yeah.
The Dodgers demoted James Paxton, to the minor leagues. And then after they demoted him, Boston traded for him. So Boston has James Paxton back, and the Dodgers got a 17-year-old infielder, Moises Bolivar, who will be able to play when he graduates from high school in Puerto Rico.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Alex Cora got a 3-year extension. He's doing a great job with Boston. I mean, that team is playing way better than their.
Yeah, he's got a chance for manager of the year, especially if they make the playoff.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's see what I got a lot of stuff here. It's just I was scrambling writing this stuff down because every time I turned around, I just walked around with a pad in my hand, and your stepmom goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Honey, I got the pad in my hand because either on the computer in here watching MLB, there's something going on, or PMS, ESPN, there's stuff flying across the bottom of the screen."
Right.
And a lot of them, Philadelphia, they got Austin Hayes from Baltimore.
Yes. Of course, I'll stay with my Philly friends. And that was, that was because they're saying they need relief pitching. I was like, well, y'all need an outfielder. I mean, that's kind of where you're hurting is your defense out there.
Well, they got Hayes, and they traded the relief pitcher Sir Anthony Dominguez and outfielder Christian Pache.
Right.
Back to Baltimore, and both of them are on the major league team. So I saw Dominguez pitch the other night. He did very well.
Yeah, and Pache, he's a light hitter, but he's a great defensive player and a great and he can run the bases. So.
Yeah, and see, Austin Hayes is a very good defensive left fielder.
Right.
He won a Gold Glove and made the All-Star team last year.
Yeah. I think they're trying to do something with Cedric Mullins because Mullins is really falling off at the plate.
Yeah, that's right. In Baltimore, they picked up Zach Eflin, starting pitcher.
Yeah, that was a good move. That was a needed move.
And they gave up Jackson. Wait a second. Tampa got outfielder Matt Etzel and pitcher Jackson Baumeister, who's the 17th ranked prospect.
Right.
And they also got super utility man Mac Hovarth, and he's the 10th ranked prospect in Major League Baseball. Seattle, they got reliever Yimi Garcia, and the Jays got outfielder Jonathan Clace. Philadelphia,
I think it's Class A, but
yeah, Class A, that's right. Philadelphia got all-star closer.
Speaking of big names in Toronto, we're still waiting for the Bichette. And
Bichette
Vladdy Jr.
And Philadelphia got all-star closer Carlos Estevez, and the Angels picked up.
Baltimore needs a closer. That's
Jeffrey Klassen and Stuart Aldegers. The Mets traded Jesse Winker. They got Jesse Winker from the Nats for right-handed pitcher Tyler Stewart, who's Double-A. He's in Double-A. He's 6'7". He doesn't have a great fastball, but they say he's got one of the best sliders in the minor leagues. So see what the Nats can do with him. The Reds.
The Mets are just trying to place because looks like Marte is taking forever to get off the injured list, and then and DJ Stewart can't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Exactly.
And they need even if when Marte comes back, they need another left-handed stick in the lineup.
Right.
So, and that's if they get Conforto, that's going to be nice.
Yeah. And he's having a good year with San Francisco.
They're talking about a pitcher as well. So,
well, the Padres got Jason Adam, a catcher from the Rays, gave up right-handed pitcher Dylan Lesko, outfielder Homer Bush, and catcher J.D. Gonzalez.
And Homer Bush feels like he's been playing forever.
Yeah. The Cubs, they got Isaac Paredes, the third baseman from the Rays. Rays are trading a lot of people. See, and the Rays are picking up these kids.
Yeah, because they're saying, if we can't make it now with these guys, we're not going to make them next year or the year after with them. Right. So
they got Chris Morel. See, they traded the third baseman Paredes, and they got Chris Morel, infielder. Then they got prospects, Ty Johnson, and right-handed pitcher Hunter Biggie, who is in the top 30 in prospects. And the Yanks got Chaz Chisholm from Miami for catcher Augustine Ramirez. Some kid, he's 22 years old. Some kid named Cerna. I didn't see his first name. He's 22 years old. And Abe Ramirez, who is 19. So they're getting.
Has he started playing yet? I mean,
I don't know. All I'm getting the names. I didn't have time to look all this stuff up.
Right, because they said he's going to play third at New York, Chaz.
And so then
interested to see how that's going to work out.
Texas traded Lorenzen, the pitcher, to Kansas City today.
Right.
And Kansas City got left-handed pitcher Walter Pennington, and he's in AAA.
Yeah, they pitcher for pitcher, righty for lefty. So
yeah, and a lot of people value that left-hander because it's always a premium.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what tomorrow brings, and my friends were even saying for us we should wait till tomorrow evening to do it. But I was thinking about it, but
we
got next week to talk about it.
If Toronto trades half of their team, we'll have something to talk about next Sunday when we trade the
Well,
show.
I mean, I won't be surprised if the Mets still trade Pete, even though they're saying they're not going to now. But it'd be still smart. I don't see you. I don't think they would lose anything.
Well,
I think they just gain. I think it's a win for them, and they can still make the playoffs.
I read where the Yankees had inquired of the White Sox for that starter that they have, and they just said the asking price was too much. So,
well, that's because they don't want to give up. They don't want to give up some of those guys in the minors they're really high on that. So Jones and some of those other guys, and you start asking for stuff, you got to give something back.
Well, I mean, Baltimore.
It's not the '80s anymore, where you could just ask a team.
I read an article this morning on the internet that said that Corbin Burns is going to be a free agent after this year.
I think he is,
and so I thought Baltimore was going to sign him, but apparently they haven't. So he's going to be a free agent. They got to get some pitching somewhere because the three guys that got on IR for the whole year, two of them will be back till at least the middle of next year.
Right.
And it's like the Dodgers; they got nobody left.
Well, Burns is waiting to see because I mean he's battling for the Cy Young Award, so or at least be on the list to talk about it.
Exactly. And
the wonder kid for Pittsburgh finally got his first loss.
Yeah.
He's 6-1 now, but he pitched a great game. It wasn't his fault. I think it
was against the Cardinals, and I mean they lost 3-0.
Right.
I mean, if you don't score, you can't win. I'm sorry.
And I think he pitched 9 innings or something.
He pitched 8.
8. Okay. Yeah.
And
I mean, he pitched a hell of a game.
Since June 1st.
I know the Phillies had a complete game shutout as well this weekend, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Since June 1st, the San Diego Padres have the best road record in baseball. They lost in Baltimore last night. That broke a 7-game winning streak.
I know Saturday night, as of June 12th, those 2 weeks, the Mets had the best record in baseball.
Right. For 2 weeks, they had the best record in baseball.
Right. I don't know what happened last night with the Braves.
They lost.
Okay. The Mets lost? Okay.
They lost the last 2 games to the Braves.
They lost Saturday night? Because the last I heard, they were winning like 6-1.
I think they lost those 2 games. I'm not sure. Anywho.
They had home run derby Friday night.
Well, a lot of these games are turning into that. Everybody just still swinging.
Well, it's hot. It's hot. The ball's going.
And the ball's carrying like crazy.
It's just jumping off.
In the standings, 11 teams have a losing record. So that's pretty good. In the American League, Baltimore is up on the Yankees by 1 game, and I don't know how because the Oilers have lost like 73 out of 74 games. They look bad doing it. Running, There's a pop-up in left field. Gunnar Henderson is going back, and he's calling for the ball. He's coming out this way, calling for the ball. The third baseman backs up. He's calling for the ball. They collide. The ball pops out of the glove. 2 runs score. With 2
if
out.
they can get by this bad patch, he'll turn around for him.
I mean, it's just, and they can't hit, they can't score. They're having trouble. They finally scored a few runs last night, but I mean, it's just watching them play and the body language. Oh my gosh! I mean, it's like they're just, oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
Right.
Gunnar Henderson is like 2 for 27 or something like that, and he's hitting the ball hard, but it's right at people.
Right.
And he's just getting more and more disgusted. Rushman, he's starting to swing at pitches out of the strike zone because he's pressing, striking out a lot. So they're having a lot of problems. The Nationals, they walked off a cliff. So they're going to trade everybody. So the standings, the O's are a game up on the Yankees and 6.5 up on the Red Sox. Cleveland is 4.5 games up on Minnesota and 6.5 up on the Kansas City Royals. Houston and Seattle are in a tie. The Dodgers finally beat Houston last night so they wouldn't get swept, and Seattle's won again. So they're tied. Texas is 4.5 back. The Phillies are 8.5 up on Atlanta and 10 up on the Mets. The Mets are 2.5 behind Atlanta. Milwaukee is up by 6 on St. Louis and 7 on Pittsburgh. The Dodgers are up on the Padres by 6.5 and 6.5 or 7.5 on the Diamondbacks. The Tigers have been playing better lately, and the Padres have done very well lately. And those are the two surprise teams I picked this year. But the Padres have really, I told them, I said, watch the Padres. I mean, people, they lost Soto. Okay. They got a few good players for them.
Yeah, they still got a good team. I mean,
and they still got a good team. I mean, and
they were still loaded last year, even with Soto. I mean, with Soto, they were even more loaded.
Right, and some of the guys that weren't hitting last year hitting this year. Now Machado's having a terrible year.
Well, Grisham has gone to the Padres. That was one of their problem kids.
Well,
I mean, gone to the Yankees. I mean, so I mean,
well, they've got and then they've got that rookie that's having a great year. Oh man, he looked good the other night against Baltimore. He was 3 for 4, and everything he hit was a rock.
Yeah, but he's fallen off a little bit, but he's still very. You can see he's going to be a great future for him.
Yeah,
as long as he don't have that where they figure him out and he doesn't know how to come back from it. Because Ellie looks like he's come back from it this year. He's playing well, so I hope that continues. A lot of excitement there in Cincinnati.
Well, the wild card, the Yankees, Minnesota, and the Kansas City in the American League. The Red Sox are 1 game back. Seattle is 2.5 games back in the wild card.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about Bobby Witt this weekend, which was fun, and so he's getting, even playing in the middle of the country. People know he's one of the top players in baseball. That was nice. A lot of people talking about Ellie, but of course I was in Ohio, and and I was in Cleveland, so a lot of excitement for baseball right now in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, Cleveland, the latest power rankings has them ranked number 1. Let me just say this about the Cleveland Guardians / Indians. They will be fine until the playoffs. Then they won't score. They do that every year. I'm just warning everybody. Now, in the National League, the Atlanta Braves are still the leader in the wild card, but they won't be there long. Take my word for it. The Padres and the Mets. Arizona is a half game behind the Mets. St. Louis is 2 back, and Pittsburgh is 3 back. So that wild card in the National League, like I said last week, the wild card in the National League and the American League West race, those 2 races are going to be probably the most exciting, because the other ones are, I mean, Baltimore and the Yankees, one of those is going to win, and the other one's going to be a wild card team. So, and they're the only 2 that are relevant.
And you don't know if you want to win because you get a bye, and then
yeah, you get a bye and then you lose. So I mean, it's just anyway. I had a whole pad of notes with everything on it about all these different players and that. And a lot of them, I never heard of them because they traded for kids.
Right.
They traded a halfway established player for a bunch of kids and hope they can bring them along. Well, you think of it this way. The Rays traded 3 players and got 9 prospects on 3 different deals. If 2 of those prospects pan out, they got a good deal. But if they pan out in the major leagues, they've done a very good job. Any more than that, they've done a fantastic job. And I never turned my back on the Tampa Bay Ray organization. They seem to be able to pull rabbits out of their hat all the time. Now, this year, not so much. But, I mean, they're still ahead of Toronto. But, I mean, it's just Tuesday, I guess everybody wanted us to wait till after the trade deadline on Tuesday to do it. So, but this way, we have a few days to digest if anything big comes down.
Yeah, and we could talk about the trades that won't made. That's just as people that didn't trade and stuff, because last year that was more talk than the actual trades themselves.
That Seattle, I said it last week. I wanted to wait to see what Seattle does because their fans were really upset.
Right.
Because they didn't trade for anybody at the trade deadline. This year they have.
Yeah.
You got a Rosarino. I mean, he's not, he's a good ball player.
He'll probably bat second.
He could bat second, third, and fourth. I mean, be better.
Well, I think third will be Julio Rodriguez.
Well, yeah, but they, I think Seattle did a good job when they got a Rosarina, and he's a good defensive outfielder. He's got speed.
Yeah, and he brings excitement there. So
yeah, he plays with an edge.
Yes,
he's like a lot of the Latin ball players. That's the way he plays.
And he wants to win. I mean, I can handle that. He wants to win.
And I mean,
he wants the limelight, and the best way to get it is to win. So
I kid around a lot about Seattle, because I've seen them come so close. And like the year when they had Junior and they won 108 ball games, set a record for winning 108 ball games, and they didn't even get to the World Series.
Right.
They lost to the Yankees.
Yeah.
And I mean, you shouldn't be, losing to the Yankees is not that big a deal.
Right. But you gotta. Well, I mean, you can see when the Twins make trades, it's in the mindset of how we're going to beat the Yankees in the playoffs.
Well, here's another thing. Judge and Soto both have OPS is over 300. I forgot what the number was. That has only happened a few times in baseball where there were two players with that. It was the 1927, 28, 30, 31, and 32 Yankees with Ruth and Gehrig.
Right.
The only two.
If Stanton can stay healthy, Jesus, that lineup.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons I picked him. And I thought, and then Rodon, if he can come back and pitch some, I mean, I don't like the Yankees. I don't root for them. I hope somebody beats them, but I'm not.
The Mets beat them. The Mets swept them this year, so that's a plus. The
Mets swept the season series from them.
Yeah. And
I saw the Nationals beat them once. I mean, but the two teams, the 30 and the 31, the Yankees didn't win the World Series because of the Philadelphia Athletics. Had two of the greatest baseball teams ever, but they were overshadowed by the 27 and 28 Yankees in that.
Right.
They were overshadowed, but they were one of the greatest teams ever. They beat the Yankees for the American League pennant.
So let me ask you this, Dan. With the moves this week, still hasn't been a lot, but there's been more this year than last year. A lot of meaningful trades. Who do you think's better than they were 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Seattle.
Seattle's
won. I'm not as high on Chaz Chisholm as a lot of people are.
I'm not either.
I think
we talked about that there too. Yeah.
I think he's a hot dog, but I mean that's just me. But anyway,
a lot of flash with a lot of not to back it up.
Yeah, right.
I agree with that assessment.
Yeah, that's another one of those things.
I want to see how he handles New York when he's not playing up the par.
I mean, he's one of those players that the wrapping is a whole lot better than the gift you have inside.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just he might do well with the Yankees. Who knows? Yeah. But I don't.
Some people go there and thrive. They love it.
And
love to be on that
stage. See, Kansas City, they got Lorenzen. Now, whether they're going to use him as a starter or a reliever, because Texas has used him as both. They brought him out of the pen. He pitched a good start. He pitched a good game as a starter. Went 5 1/3 innings. Then the next time he got a no decision. The next time he pitched 5 innings of relief and didn't allow a run.
Right.
Then the next game he came out and got bombed in the second inning. So I mean, I'm not sure how Kansas City is going to use him, and I'm a little surprised. The Cubs seem to be trying to better themselves. In fact, they're one of the teams that are calling San Francisco about getting Snell. And they got Isaac Perez to play third base, and he's a pretty good third baseman. He's better than what they have.
And he can hit.
And he can hit. So, I mean, I think that's I think the Phillies are going to be better because of I think getting Carlos Estevez really helps them in their bullpen. And the Phillies didn't need a whole lot of help, but I think they've helped themselves a lot. I think if I had to pick two teams, I'd pick Seattle because of the Arozarena trade, and the Phillies for helping their
let's go the other way.
Getting a good defensive outfielder who can hit fairly well.
Right. Now let's go the other way. What's a couple of teams that need more help desperately that really haven't?
Baltimore.
That's one of my number
one. Baltimore, number one. Number two, the Dodgers. The Dodgers need pitching. They need pitching. They need starters. They just need anything.
I just don't think the Dodgers have enough trade capital to really do anything.
Well,
I don't know who they're going to trade to get something. I don't think
Baltimore,
they have the minors to do it.
I mean, Baltimore, they got Zach Eflin. No, that's fine. He's 30-year-old. He's a good pitcher. But
They need a closer. They need a closer.
He had a losing record. See, the other night, they were winning against San Diego, and they went and they brought in Kimbrel for the ninth inning. It was the ninth inning. There's 2 outs.
But who are you going to trade for a closer? Because not everybody. You don't want to trade a high prospect for a closer.
They don't need to trade their high prospects. They've got 1 million of them. But the point is this: it's not always the pitcher.
Right.
There were men on first and third. The Orioles are up by 2 runs. Guy hits a ground ball to second baseman. He has to move to his right. He backhands the ball, turns to flip the ball to the first baseman, and fell over his feet and landed on his face. And never made the throw. Right. That's 1 out. It should have been 2 outs. Now, run scored. They're up by 1 run. Now they got runners on first and third. First and third. Kimbrel walks the next pinch hitter. That was his fault. Now the bases are loaded. I'm sorry, they were up by 3 runs. Kimbrel walks the next guy, the next pitch hitter. Now they're up by 1 run. They still got 2 outs in the ninth inning. They're up by 1 run. Next guy hits a ground ball to second base. The second baseman bobbled it and dropped it and couldn't make the play, and they lost. The next guy got a base hit and they lost. Then the closer Kimbrel walking to 2 guys, that was bad. But the second baseman made 1 mental error when he fell over his feet and fell on his face. They gave the guy a hit. And then the error, they'd have been out of the inning.
Right.
And then the next night is when the game is tied. The game is tied. I'm sorry. The Orioles are winning 2-0. There's a runner on first base. Is it Peralta? The kid that made the All-Star team, the outfield, for the Padres. He's up to bat.
Okay. I don't know who it was.
Well, yeah. Anyway, he's up to bat. There's one ball and 2 strikes on it. There's 2 out. Man on first base. The box. The box is up here like this. The pitch is right here. Well inside the box. Umpire goes ball. That was strike 3. He was out. The inning was over. The Orioles are winning 2-0. The next pitch, he hits a hot shot down the first baseline that they called foul. The first baseman caught it, but they called it foul. Next pitch is 444 feet for a home run, tied the game up. See, when I say about umpires missing calls, when you miss a call and it has no bearing on the game, okay, no big deal. But the calls you miss that turn out to be game changers like that turned into a home run because you had strike 3 and you missed the call. Right. And it wasn't close. So then in the next inning is when they had the Padres had 2 men on and 2 out at second and third. And the guy hit the pop-up, and the 2 guys, and Gunnar Henderson, the third baseman, Arias, run together and drop the ball, and then they 2 runs score. And you could see them. I mean, then you saw the shoulders drop. They're getting disgusted. It's a bad body language. And, you know, the manager's got to take charge of that.
Right.
He has
Can't let
got,
that fester.
he's got to get them in there, got to get them in the locker room, chew some rear end, and get them straight. Because you're not going to get out of the funk unless you get over that feeling sorry for yourself.
Right.
So,
Well, Dan, you got anything for closing today, or going into this last day of the trade, going into tomorrow?
I'm just curious to see what Toronto does. I kind of, if they've been talking about trading Guerrero and Junior and Vladdy Jr. and Bichette. Well, I want to just see if they're going to do it. Of course, Bichette got hurt, so he's on the IR. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But I'm curious. And I got one more. I got another Yogiism.
Go ahead.
They asked him about a restaurant in New York about the food and that. And he said, "Well, I don't know. We don't go there anymore." He said, "Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded." That's a Yogiism.
Yeah, we said it a few times this week where we were at. Well, we're going to leave it with that, everybody. Enjoy the games. The season is hot in more ways than the temperature.
It will be August next week.
Yes, will be August on Wednesday. So we're getting to the tail end of things when it's really exciting. So enjoy the games. And until next time, like, share, tell a friend, subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment, please. And until next time, see ya.